Okay, hi everybody, this is Cherie. We have a really great group of people on the phone. I'm going to just read off the list of those who I know are here so that you have an idea of who's in the session. So Bob Livingston from Cerritos College and Greta Saunier from LA Trade Tech, Larry Schenk from LA City College, Philip Sutton from El Camino and also our state's retail sector navigator, and then Rick Lockwood from Coastline, Rodney Murray from El Camino, Vanessa Thomas from Chafee, and Mary Cassoni from Palomar. Is there anyone else who just called in or logged in that I did not call on?
This is Henry Hua from San Bernardino Valley College.
Oh, great. Welcome, Henry.
Thank you.
So are you only participating by phone, or are you logging in?
Yes.
Okay.
I can log in also.
Okay, that'd be great. All right, we are recording, so I will go ahead and get started. And this gives community colleges who were unable to join us an opportunity to hear what's going on. So, thank you for joining the curriculum revalidation webinar today. Our objective throughout this spring of 2015 is to communicate to all of our WAFC partner colleges throughout the 14 western states. And we are trying to make sure that everybody fully understands what has happened with the Retail Management Certificate curriculum over the last couple of years, where it's headed, and also determine where you are in the process. So the first thing is just as a quick background. Most of you are aware that we were awarded a federal grant to some of our partner colleges back in 2012, and we're excited to acknowledge that the Department of Labor has recognized the Retail Management Certificate as so worthy that they want us to scale it nationally to any college that's interested across the U.S. and introduce it to the entire retail sector by 2016. So what this means, of course, is that we will have a nationally recognized certificate in retail management, nationally recognized by community colleges across the nation as well as by the retail sector. So going forward, we need to ensure that all of our college partners are providing the most up-to-date, relevant content. So it needs to be consistent across the nation in order to be recognized and endorsed by our industry as well as possibly the National Retail Federation going forward. So we've been discussing this since about the summer of 2013 at our fall and spring statewide advisory meetings, and some of our colleges are up to speed, but there are the vast majority who are not. So at this point, just a quick, why this revalidation? What's going on here? And for most of you, you know that the Retail Management Certificate program was founded on competencies that are considered critical for success for people at the store manager level in the retail sector. But these competencies were developed and identified over 14 years ago. So in order to make it more relevant today, we're looking at updating the competencies. And the grant gave us the opportunity to do that, to review the competencies that were required in 1999 and identify the new or different knowledge, skills, and abilities for a retail manager today. In so doing, we have been able to revalidate the competencies and then enter into a curriculum review process, which benefits all of the colleges because it will provide you with updated course outcomes or student learning outcomes, which I will use interchangeably. So here's the question for the colleges, and this is where Barbara was explaining the button called the polling button, which is a checkbox. The first question is, how many of you have been familiar with the revalidation event and the request to update your curriculum? So let's test out that polling button, and if you are familiar, when you do the pull down, you'll have an opportunity to say yes or no. Okay, So it looks like people are figuring out this awesome webinar system. And most people are aware of the curriculum revalidation event and the request to update. But for those of you who aren't, we'll be going into that for everybody's sake. And then the second question is, how many of you have already reviewed and updated your curriculum or are in the process? Let's use that polling feature again. Okay, great. So this tells us that we're 50-50 split, and the rest of this is going to be really interesting for all of you. Okay, so here's the process that we went through. In the winter of 2013, we assembled a panel of expert store director level people from the grocery industry, and this panel was guided by a 4-year university provost who has significant experience in competency-based education. And with this provost's assistance and working with, and as well as several community colleges and this expert panel, we had a goal to revalidate the competencies and then link the updated competencies to course outcomes for the retail management certificate. The new course outcome, or the new competency list, is what you see here. Now, for everything that you see here, this information is also available on the new retailmanagementcertificate.com website, including information about the competencies as well as the other slides that are coming up. So these are the revalidated, updated list of 15 core competencies. During the session that we held with our expert panel, the group confirmed for us that the role of the store manager in the retail sector has become much more sophisticated than 1999. And they made some recommendations that would better reflect the academic needs of a store manager in 2013 and beyond. It's great to know that ultimately the group recommended that the program stay mostly intact, but they did have a few strong recommendations for enhancements that would help accelerate students' learning and also increase certificate completion rates, which is a win-win for all of us. So their recommendations, which included combining the 2 communications course into one around business communications, as well as combining or embedding math inside a financial accounting type course. Those 2 recommendations would lead in a perfect world to a compressed program that is 8 specific courses where the communication and quantitative skills have been impacted. So to show you what that would look like, again, this is also available on the website, but there's a document on the website that shows how we aligned the course competencies, as you see in the column on the right, with the student learning outcomes or course outcomes that you see in the body of this document. The one that we're showing here is the communications course. Again, in a perfect world, you would be combining a business English or an English with a speech or the oral communication and business communications into one course. And incorporated in that would be the competencies 1 and 2 are around business reading and writing. 8 and 9, which you see throughout, are oral communications and interpersonal skills. And then 15 is technology, using technology for business writing as well as presentations. So and here's another example. This is the financial management and budgeting. It is much more robust than the business math and basic bookkeeping or basic accounting that has been required in the past. But this one is one we need to talk a little bit about. The first outcome is apply business math skills to calculate business interest or to calculate interest, payroll, rate of change, discounts, markups, pricing, gross margins, and net margin. And that's about it. What our expert panel told us was that an entire semester-long course in business math was absolutely not necessary, and certainly algebra is not necessary. But in a more high-level financial accounting or financial management course, we need to incorporate the quantitative skills, and the definition of the financial management outcome, which is number 13, is defined as the ability to apply math skills to calculate, interpret, and analyze financial information to make business decisions. The other competencies that are heavy in this course are decision-making, business ethics, adaptability, business reading, and technology using computers for the program. So let me just keep moving on. This is just overview at this point. So in a perfect world, the program becomes 8 courses, and this is a generic course title list in recommended order, where a student would start out with a human relations course and end up with the retail management capstone course. And that is the third course, the number 8, which is retail management, is the third course that the panel gave us recommendations around, that it needed to be more of a capstone instead of just a retailing course. So this is one that we'll want you to look at the course outcomes more closely and make sure that your program reflects that. So let me just say, on a holistic level, this revalidation process is critical, because as we connect with each one of our community college partners individually, we'll be finding out how you're doing and how your program compares now in terms of course outcomes with the WAFC's core competencies and student learning outcomes. We're also asking if you can seriously consider moving closer to this 8-course model because of the need to accelerate people to completion and ensure a greater completion rate. This is also valuable for your program because every couple of years it's vital that everybody looks at their courses, and I know that you all do that. So comparing your courses and your course outcomes to our list is important. So let's talk about how this impacts each of our partner colleges. We have a couple of dates that we want to talk about. In order for us to achieve consistency among all of our partner colleges nationally, by July of 2016, we're asking that each of you has gone through the crosswalk form and made sure that your program is on track. But June 2016 is a year and a half away. In the short run, we only have about 15 colleges who have already moved to the 8-course model. So there should be no sense of alarm, though we have been talking about this for the last year and a half for those of you who have been able to attend our advisory meetings. In the interim, we have a next step. In the next step, again, because you know our primary objective in this revalidation process is to ensure that our students are gaining the most relevant skills and competencies within the shortest timeline. We know that it's maybe not possible for everybody to fully reduce their program to the 8-course model due to maybe some prerequisites that you at this point can't see a way around. But we are very pleasantly surprised to see that many colleges in California have figured out a way. Some of you are on the line, and we're going to be asking for your input. Step number 3 on this slide here is to complete the curriculum crosswalk that you find on the WAFC's website in the college section by March 16th of 2015. So that's about 6 weeks from now. Once you submit your curriculum crosswalk, we'll review it and look at where we're a little bit off track. But let me go to the next slide. This is the snapshot of the Retail Management Certificate website. I won't ask for a poll, but I hope all of you have had a chance to explore the website, especially in light of preparation for today's webinar. But this slide here shows you in the community college section, in the pull down, that there's a curriculum revalidation tab that takes you to a page with all of the tools you need. Specifically, we're looking for you to find the curriculum course crosswalk form, download it to your computer, and fill in the blanks, and then send it back to us. We show you what that looks like. In completing the crosswalk, this is a sample of just one section for the course that's combining oral and written communications. You can see here that we have actually got 2 columns, so that if you at this point still have an English and a speech class, or a business English or written communications course and an oral communications course, there's a space here for you to provide those course numbers for us. But again, we're hoping that you will be able at some point to blend those into the one course on business communications. So this was just an example to show you how that might look. Okay, we're at the point now where we want to open this up for questions and answers. And this is where, if you have the ability to speak to us using your microphone, you'll do that. If you don't, if you are only able to join via telephone, then we'll take turns with unmuting your line, *6, and go through your questions and comments. Please let us know how you're doing with the program. I do know that a few of you have already been able to move to the 8-course program, so I'd like to start with those, and maybe we'll start with Greta, because I see you here on the list.
You just want me to give you an update?
Yeah, sure. For the sake of everybody who's on the line, you've moved to an 8-course program, so can you tell us what you had to do to get there?
We had to change a couple of our courses. We didn't really have to do a whole lot. I think the biggest one was the math. And that one we really had to go in and change the curriculum and add more substance to it. We've received a little kickback about it because we do have some math instructors that are teaching those courses for us. And I'm not sure they're very comfortable with the financial aspect of it, but they wanted us to take it out, and we refused. So we're on track. We do have everything still at the state level, and I'm currently for the associate degree, and I have everything ready for the 8 courses. Everything has been approved. We've gone through the curriculum process. The Academic Senate has approved it too as well. We had small hurdles, but nothing that we could not overcome, because the oral communications class that we have and the written communication, we always do presentations and oral presentations anyway, so that was already a part of it. So we did have to go in and change the name of our retail management class, which was it was insignificant, and so it was retail merchandising. We changed it to retail management. I think other than that, everything else has been aligned. Everything is working. We're waiting on the state. Our department chair is in communication with the state, so we're just waiting at this point. Everything seems to be okay.
Okay, fantastic. There was somebody who just joined us by phone, and you will want to mute your line using *6 until we're ready to talk. Okay, who else has already moved to the 8-course program and would like to please update us on your challenges and successes?
This is Henry Hua from San Bernardino Valley College. We have gotten all of our courses and program changes into the state. We haven't offered it yet, but mainly it was just making curriculum changes on the local end.
So how easy was that for you to make those changes? Because we hear a lot of discussion around both the communications and financial management.
It wasn't it would be better had we known ahead of time. I mean, I've only been at this district for a year, but we put in our request. We actually started the process in the fall, and so all fall, that's all we did was work on the curriculum changes and get it through our local curriculum process. And so it took about 6 months.
Well, I think that's actually quite good.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you had any concerns over the financial management / budgeting type course and its transferability, or having enough student participation to make it go?
Student participation is one of our biggest issues, just because our local provider, we've been doing this for a while, and so the number of students that need the WAFC certificate has decreased since we've started. And so we're looking at seeing other places that may have value to giving the certificate. But we're in an empire, and so there's not a lot of companies that are coming to us for wanting that certificate.
Okay, I'm going to try to encourage everybody with some new information, and that is that the companies that are on the WAFC Board of Directors just 3 weeks ago, each were issued a very robust goal to have students enrolled in the Retail Management Certificate program. And while there's no the mandate, obviously, because it's all a volunteer kind of thing, we have an incredibly supportive and excited board of directors around the value of this certificate. And in the Inland Empire, while Stater Brothers is one of the biggies, we've got the whole merger with Albertsons and Safeway, and we've got several other companies, including a lot of independent operators that are covered on our board through wholesalers. So we're hoping that you will all start seeing a resurgence of interest.
What we would like to see possibly is maybe an opportunity to meet with these retailers, maybe at an event sponsored by the WAFC, where each regional area can get together with these business partners as a partnership with the WAFC. Is there any talks about something like that?
Yes, in fact, we every year, twice a year, we hold for Southern California an advisory meeting that invites you and everybody on the line here, as well as all the other community colleges that participate, to join us along with all of those retailers, and we have a 4-hour advisory meeting. The one for Southern California, so that you all can put it on your calendars, is scheduled for March 20th, which is a Friday, and it will be at Superior Markets, which is in LA County. That information, the save the date, has gone out. It's also available on our website. And Henry, along with everybody else, we invite you to attend and participate. That'll be the first place for us to have this conversation and around your request, and then we can do follow-up after that.
Yeah, I was possibly going to the one that you guys previously had in Altadena. It's just that's what we're looking for, something more localized for the region. I mean, LA County and Inland Empire are very two different areas. Orange County is a very different area. And so we were looking at something more local, so local businesses, and possibly meeting with them as a local college versus going, I mean, if I went to where this next meeting is going to be, which is in LA, a lot of those retailers, that's where they are, out that area. Chances of them coming or having students come to our facilities.
Henry, let me explain. Because you haven't had a chance to attend, the people who attend this advisory meeting on the employer side, they cover the entire, all of Southern California. They are the go-to person in order for each of our colleges to reach your local people. So coming to meeting wherever we hold it. We take turns so that you don't always have to drive so far. But you'll be meeting with the right people, the key contacts, to help you grow the program. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that on March 20th, because everybody there is going to be eager to connect with you. Okay, so let's see who else is on the 8-course program and or getting close to getting it approved. How about if we go to Bob Livingston?
Okay, I was waiting. Yeah, we're on the 8-course program, and we have there seems to be many steps to the process, and we were able to switch from the 10-course to the 8-course, and it's been approved locally, and it's been approved through Sacramento, so that's done. We are in the process of going through all of the classes now, because we got the program approved, but we're in the process of going through all of the classes now, and we'll be doing that this semester. And we've aligned the competencies to our student learning outcomes, and we've mapped the competencies to our course outcomes, and we're in the process of rewriting all of our course outlines, and that's going to take us the rest of the semester to accomplish that. I tried to change all the names to match the names that the WAFC came up with, and I ran into a barrage of flack from various departments saying, no, we own the name communications, and somebody else saying they own the name computer. So I've not been very successful at that. Trying to do it all at once was probably a bad idea because I think it raised red flags, and I think we need to make smaller changes over a period of time, and we can get closer to calling our classes what you recommend us calling our classes. So that's pretty much where we are. In addition to that, as far as the 8 class, we divided our 8 classes into 2 areas. One is we call business essentials, and there's 3 classes in the business essentials, and then the next area we called core classes, and there's 5 classes in the core classes. And it's still made up just one certificate, and as a 3-class unit, we can't get credit for that. I was told that we couldn't get credit for business essentials anyway. That's why I made it 3 and 5. Now I've found out that Sacramento will approve 4 classes or 12 units as a completion, and so that's the next thing we're going to do is to rewrite all of our programs again, and this time have 4 classes in the business essentials and 4 classes in the core classes, and then we'll be able to give a certificate of completion for the business. Certificate of completion for the business essential 4 classes, and then a certificate of achievement for the retail management certificate after they complete all 8 classes. And that does count as 2 completions. And I know there's a lot of emphasis being put on completion, so that's our take on a way to accomplish that with the curriculum that we have. And all of that's going to be probably taking effect next year. So we're going to spend the rest of this semester rewriting everything and then running it through the other thing we did that made things go much quicker was we put everything through as non-substantial changes, and that was approved by our local curriculum committee, and it was approved by Sacramento. But that saved us having to have a 2-inch stack of papers for every program, and we did it much more quickly that way. So I'll stop there unless there's other. I could go on. If you want me to finish up my list, or stop there, because I think I answered the question about the 8 classes a long time ago.
Okay, let's temporarily we'll stop there. And if people have questions you want to ask of any of the people who've already done it, moved toward the 8-course model or are close, then we can circle back on that. I wanted to check and see if Joe Molina is still on the line, because Maricosta has already gone through the crosswalk process and is moving it to an 8-course program in the short run. Joe, are you still there? Okay, I know he was on and he was going to have to get off, but so Maricosta is on board with the 8-course program. Other than that, I'm looking at the list. Vanessa, how about you guys? Tracy. Vanessa, if you're still on the line, *6 on your phone to unmute. Okay, I see that you've typed in that your program is in curriculum review now. Approval is anticipated during the middle of this semester, and implementation should begin in the fall of 2015. Fantastic. Okay, anyone else that is in the process and making the changes?
This is Rick Lockwood.
Hi, Rick.
Hi. We are in the process of changing classes. We're combining our math and accounting course, which was a little bit of a challenge with the accounting instructor that's working on it. But anyway, we did manage to rename that course so that we can cross-use it in other areas. And so it's going to be also part of our entrepreneurship program, which is actually pretty good because I think it's got all the basic skills. The other thing we're going to be doing, and we haven't started this yet, but is we're going to combine into our writing and communication class. We have a written communication right now. We're going to add in the oral and presentation skills. And that should bring us, with the exception of the retail capstone course, that should bring us into line.
Okay, that's excellent. I'm going to point something out right now before we get back into some of the things that have been typed in that we want to respond to. Because the grant is all about having the most relevant, up-to-date stuff, there was a significant amount of money set aside for instructional designer to create the best-in-class version of each of these courses, or at least provide really awesome modules for the courses. So for example, the communications class might have 5 or 6 different modules. The financial management and budgeting class has 5 or 6 different modules that you can choose to use or not use to make your program more relevant and more on track. Obviously, because it was a part of the grant, these modules were developed with our course outcomes and competencies as the foundation. So I saw, I mean, hearing what you're saying, Rick, and what others have said about the challenge to take care of the program, or especially the financial management and budgeting area. And then I saw Rodney's question about, looks like we're going to have to do some curriculum writing, and you may or may not have to. It just depends on what courses you have available. I'll mention, to be more clear about something Greta said, theirs was the business math class. They did not write a new class. They simply made the business math class more robust and added the financial management areas. I also want to clarify that we're not asking for 100% compliance. So let me go back, here we go, to completing the crosswalk. If you, well no, I'm going to use the financial management. Here we go, the financial management. This one is the one where the first course outcome here is math, basically. The rest of it is all around planning and decision making, somebody who's able to understand the financial reports and make effective business decisions around that. So this is where Greta had somebody who's having a challenge teaching it because they were just doing math. Now they're actually doing financial management. These are the kinds of things that we want to be able to help with and help people get through the hurdles. Those modules that I mentioned, they are not available yet for public consumption, but they will be very soon. And since we said we have until next summer, June of 2016, to move you guys along, we're planning on trying to get those modules out to you very soon, within the next 3 or 4 months. Okay, so let's look at some of these questions. I'm looking at John Russo from representing IBC on the phone. You've said that you've submitted the 8-course revision 2 curriculum and that's in process. Awesome. Mary, you've asked, do we happen to know what MiraCosta did? Yes. Your question is, because part of the requirements for financial management are accounting and just a small part is business math. Yeah, the insight on the 70% rule. So if you're looking at the financial management and budgeting course, which I have up on the screen, if you have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8, let's just say there are 10 for the ease of math. If you had 7 of the 10 course outcomes, then your program is at 70% or higher. So with the financial management and budgeting course, most of the people who are submitting their crosswalk are saying that they have about 71%. Some are almost 100%. And MiraCosta, Joe Molina, could help to clarify for you as well. Okay, other questions that you guys have? Does anyone else want to open their mic to tell us where they are with the program? Okay, the crosswalk is the most important next step. Even if you are not at an 8-course program, if you're still at 10, we would like to know, we'd like you to submit that crosswalk so we at least have an idea of where everyone is. For example, not in this group, but in Northern California, somebody submitted theirs. Instead of Intro to Marketing, or the marketing course, they had a sales course and an advertising course totaling 6 credits, and neither one of those is the approved course, so it was 6 wasted credits. These are the kinds of things we're uncovering. Excuse me, wasted is not the right phrase, but they're outside of the scope of what we're trying to achieve. And just to put a cap on this, the Retail Management Certificate in the new 8-course model really is spot on. We have almost 1,000 graduates now, and of those graduates, the number of promotions they've been getting that they attribute to the Retail Management Certificate are significant. And the retention of the people who have earned the certificate is also incredible. The leaders who are part of the WAFC have never been more engaged, and they believe that this program is exactly what they need. Now, since 80% of the people, almost 80% of the people who earn the certificate are going on to get at least their associate degree, they're going to get some of the things that we've asked you to push outside of the certificate. So English and math and all the other gen ed, and then even if they wanted to take a sales class or whatever it might be, those things are available to them. Bob at Cerritos mentioned that they have broken their Retail Management Certificate into 2 pieces, and that's what we call stacking certificates. So you all know that word at least as much as I do, but we're creating a career education pathway. So it starts with the Retail Management Certificate, and he's broken his into 2 chunks. But then you stack on top of that, what do they do next to earn their associate degree? Some of our colleges, you actually have an associate degree in retail management. We are looking at what happens next on the pathway because so many people want to go on, and we're urging them to stay at their community college to get their associate degree, or at least take their gen ed courses before moving to their next step. Okay, other questions that you might have? Feel free to type them in, or, okay, I see from Dovard, Rodney, I think you and Rodney are having a chat. So other than basic math component of Business 15, it appears to lend itself to Business 1B. We'll let you guys have an offline chat about that. Anybody else? Okay, we want to be able to answer your questions. I hope that the webinar has been useful for you and that it has given you a little bit of incentive to try to figure it out. I know that Dovard and Rodney are trying to do that right now. And Mary, great, you agree. Other than basic math stuff, the course is more accounting. That's absolutely right. And a lot of colleges are finally kind of looking at that and saying, really, they're learning the math stuff they need inside that course because all of those are critical to be able to apply them to the financial parts of the course. Okay, before we wrap up, I'll give you one more chance. Does anyone have anything else they want to add or ask?
This is Joe Molina. Can you hear me
Hey,
now?
Joe, you are there, yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening to it, but my Bluetooth keeps going on and off, so I have to park and hopefully I'll be able to. I know you had a question for me earlier, but I couldn't respond.
Well, the question, it looks like we may have been able to help. It was around the fact that you've moved to the 8-course model, and initially there was quite a lot of pushback from you know, the dean and whoever saying, we can't do that because of this and that and the other thing. Would you mind sharing how that resolved itself in a week's time?
Well, fortunately, we have a really entrepreneurial department. I mean, our coach Tom Severance and Alpha Count are very open to changes and trying things out and see how they work. But I'll tell you, this course, this certificate was one of the certificates I actually physically had to go and promote all over the place. But the way you guys set it up now, especially being online, the classes are full right away. So it helps create a very positive impact in the program. So that's from my personal experience.
Well, I'm glad I didn't even have to pay you to say that. I think I think it's true. That's what we're seeing because the students, you know, nobody's asking us to dumb the program down by removing courses. And as you can see from the financial management and budgeting course, it's nothing dumbed down. It's pretty robust.
Oh no, it's pretty good. I mean, the math that takes, at least in my class, is a lot. It's quite a lot of math. You know, there's really practical math that applies directly into retailing. So I think there's no question that the math is there. There's no algebra trigonometry at all, but the math is there.
Okay, and it's also very possible in every area when we've had these webinars. There's somebody who says, "But you don't know our students," and so I get that. There's always the concern about their ability to pass the AccuPlacer or whatever the placement tests are on your campus. But by removing math and English from this certificate, we give people in the industry a chance to get the education they want without getting stuck in developmental math hell for 2 or 3 semesters before they can even finish this certificate. And it is something that's being strongly recognized. Many of our companies are adding it as to their promotion postings, saying the retail management certificate is strongly desired. This might be why some of you are seeing a more robust program than you've seen before, and there's no turning back. It's going to continue to grow. So I hope that's the kind of encouragement that you need to stick with us and continue to work on growing the program and make a concerted effort to try to move it toward the 8-course model. We do know that we want people to go on. We've partnered with Western Governors University, which is a 4-year university. We've talked about this at our advisory meetings, but a lot of community colleges, a lot of 4-year institutions like the Cal States and the UCs are not giving the best scenario when it comes to transferring these courses because they're more aligned with what they want them to do at the 300 and 400 level. So that's why our partnership with Western Governors University really works. But more than that, the adult learners that are taking our classes are not going to the Cal States. They're not on skateboards and bicycles running around campus all day. They're at work. And so they're looking for adult programs, and they're choosing some of the more expensive for-profit programs. So we wanted to align them with Western Governors University, which is not-for-profit, where they can earn their bachelor's degree after getting the retail management certificate for around $12,000 max total, all the way to the bachelor's degree. So those are the kinds of things that we'll talk about at our advisory meeting this spring. We also have all of the companies very excited to attend. They all have these goals they need to meet. They're wanting to engage with our colleges and see how they can develop stronger partnerships, find out what it is you're doing to help them. And they want to tell you what they're trying to do to put more people in your classrooms. So with that, any other questions? Oh, it looks like Bob has a question. Go for it, Bob.
Yeah, with the WGU, let me see if I got that. So you're saying that when somebody completes the certificate and they go directly from the certificate to WGU, that the total cost, or were you saying that if they complete the certificate, you get an AA degree and then go to WGU? Which were you saying?
Okay, thanks. I was saying something in between. If somebody had no college credits, but they're an adult who has been working in the work world for a long time and wants to hit the ground running, they can earn their degree through Western Governors University, earning all their credits there for around $18,000 max in 3 years' time while working full-time. So I kind of backed it down to 12, assuming the person was somewhere between finishing our certificate and their associate degree and transferred in a significant number of gen ed as well. It's our strong recommendation that they stay at their community college to do that gen ed because it's less expensive, but we also know that all those gen ed classes fill up quickly. And so we're looking for alternatives to help people. And we'll talk about that more at the spring advisory meeting as well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's, you know, our students, we've created pathways from the retail management program to a Plan AAA degree, the CSU bachelor's degree, the IGETSI, and as well as Northwood, which is a 3+1 program on our campus. But the problem students are having is getting into the classes they need to go on. And I mean, we can supply all of the retail management classes in the world, but then they have to get their GE classes, and those classes are darn difficult to get into. And especially if they're online students, they're very difficult to get into. So I think the WGU plan is a very appropriate plan for students that want to get through it in less than 7 years or so, because it takes forever if you can't get the classes that you need. So we have a 3+1 plan. I'm starting to refer to the WGU plan as the 1+3 plan, and the cost for the 3+1 plan, 3 years of community college classes and 1 year at Northwood University, is about $17,000 plus student fees and tuition. Or no, that is tuition, but plus student fees and textbooks. And if you can get through for that amount through the WGU, going directly from the certificate to the WGU, that's a winner. That's something I want to know more about.
Okay, well, great. I'm glad. We've been talking about our partnership with WGU for a while. One last bit about that. If any of you are going to encourage your people to consider Western Governors University, on the Retail Management Certificate website, in the For Graduates section, we have very specific information about Western Governors University, including a link that you can click on to take you to a landing page they created for us, a welcome page for Retail Management Certificate graduates who are also entitled to a 5% discount on top of the already amazing low price. We're also working on a scholarship with them now for retail management graduates who go on to earn their associate degree first. That's, again, just trying to urge them to get that before they go. Okay, so I just typed in the chat box to let you all know I can email a copy of this PowerPoint presentation to you, and we will also make this recording available for the other colleges who could not attend. We're going into almost an hour now, so we know we'll lose people. But so let's go ahead and wrap it up at this point. And if anyone has other questions or concerns, feel free to give me a call or an email, and we will take it offline. I see I'm going to be here, but if you all need to leave, we're going to stop the recording,